Hello dear followers, hope you're doing fine. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to show you how to prepare and how to present a lesson. What do you have to write on the board and what do pupils have to write on their copybooks? I know it's somehow complicated for novice teachers. They get confused. I hope this video is going to be useful for you. I have chosen a grammar lesson because it's somehow complicated compared to the other lessons. So it's the fourth year English program. The third lesson, comparative of adjectives. I'm going to show you how to present this lesson. So first, you've got the board divided into three parts. Normally, we write the date and the title of the lesson and the sequence and even the examples on your left. It means you start with the small part of the board on your left. So you write the date, you write sequence 1 or 2 or 3, and you write the lesson, the number of the lesson, and you leave a gap. You leave it empty. Why? Because the learners themselves are going to deduce the title of the lesson. So, first, before you start, you have to introduce your lesson with a warm-up. It means that you have to prepare a game for your pupils, do or ask them to do body movements, make a short quiz, a joke, anything you want. You're really free. So the warm-up is really separated from the lesson. It has nothing to do with the lesson. And you're free. So it should take 5 minutes, not more, not less, just to prepare the atmosphere for your pupils, to make them feel at ease. Then you ask questions to get into the lesson smoothly. Here for comparative adjectives, I would choose 2 pupils to come to the board, and I'm going to compare them. I'm going to ask my pupils to compare their classmates. Maybe tall, short, maybe handsome, maybe beautiful for girls, maybe fat, maybe slim. So they have to compare. So I have prepared my pupils for the target item because they are using adjectives. And I'm going to talk about adjectives, so they are already prepared for this. And then I ask them questions. And these questions are related to the examples that I'm going to present. These questions should be asked orally. I won't write these questions. I say, which is big, Algeria or Tunisia? Who is pretty, Miss Italy or Miss India? Which is expensive, iPhone or Samsung? Which is good, homemade food or fast food? So here I have chosen questions whose answers are going to serve me. A mixture of short adjective, long adjective, irregular adjective, and so on. Then I write the pupils' answers on the board. I'm still on the left board. So I write the examples, and it's very important to use colors when you write, and you highlight the target item with another color. And something else which is very important, it's that you have to give numbers to your sentences. This is very important. So then, after writing the 4 examples, you explain to your pupils. So Algeria is bigger. So how was the adjective? It was big. What did here you interact with your pupils? What did we add to big? ER. What about double G? Why did we add double G? And then in Miss India is prettier than Miss Italy. How was the adjective? Y at the end. Why did we omit the Y? Then you have third sentence. iPhone is more expensive. We added more here and we didn't add more in big and pretty. Why? And in the fourth one, homemade food is better than fast food, the adjective has changed completely. Why? So your pupils are going to do their best to make the difference between the sentences and the forms of adjectives. Then you write the title of the lesson. So today we're going to speak about the comparative of adjectives, or these are called adjectives. But what are we doing here? We are comparing, so they are called comparative of adjectives. So together with the learners, you're going to mention the title of the lesson. That's why we say that CBA involves learner-centeredness. And of course, you write grammar for your lesson to highlight the skill: reading, writing, grammar, pronunciation, and so on. And we know that pronunciation and grammar are sub-skills. They are not skills, they are sub-skills. So, after explaining the examples, after writing what is necessary for your pupils, you have to ask your pupils to give you examples orally. This is a very important step in a grammar lesson. And then you ask them to write the examples on their copybooks. Give them time. So, for example, you have 5 minutes to write these examples on your copybooks. Meanwhile, you're going to write the activities. I advise you to write Activity 1, Activity 2, and Activity 3, and then you move to Activity 4. First, because you won't have enough space to write all the activities on the board. And second, so that your pupils won't be confused. And third, always the third activity, which is going to be presented as a filling gap activity, which is the rule, you have to mention it as a reference for the previous activities. And the fourth activity, which is a communicative activity, it should be done at the end. So, in a grammar lesson, you have 4 activities. The first activity, it's a form-based. What is a form-based? It means it requires the structure and the form. And the second activity, it's meaning-based. It requires some understanding to do the activity. The third activity, I always presented as a rule, filling gap rule activity. And the fourth activity, it's communicative. It means it requires some creativity from your pupils. So, activity 1, after they write the 3 activities, you give them time for the first one. You don't write the time, but you say it orally. You have 7 minutes for the first activity. You explain, of course, the instruction, because there are, of course, weak pupils. And you mention that the activity is going to be a pair work. So, after 7 minutes, you're going to correct the activity. You either ask a volunteer or you choose randomly. Then you ask them to correct the activity on their copybooks. Of course, 2-3 minutes are enough. Activity 2, which is a meaning-based, the same thing. You give them 8 minutes for the activity, and you mention that is individual. Then it's going to be a peer correction. For example, each pupil is going to do it alone, and when he or she finishes, he's going to give the activity to his or her classmate to correct. This way, they're going to learn how to collaborate, they're going to share ideas, and they're going to recognize their mistakes. And this is a very important premise in CBA. Then, you correct, class correction, and you ask them to correct the activity on their copybooks. 3 to 4 minutes are enough. For the third activity, here you've got the choice. You either give it as an activity, filling gap activity, they should complete the rule, Here, sometimes when we deal with the present perfect lesson or past simple or tenses, or maybe markers or cause effect, here you may a gap filling activity is going to be suitable for this kind of lessons. But here for adjectives, there are some adjectives that change. So here it is like the rule is somehow difficult for your pupils. So you can give them handouts to gain time. You give them handouts and they're going to complete the rule on their handouts. Or you present it on the board, and it's going to be somehow time consuming, but you present it on the board and you explain to them, or you ask them to complete it. For the last activity, which requires creativity, here, same thing. You ask your pupils to do the activity in 10 minutes. You mention that it's a pair work activity, and after that, it's going to be corrected. So, to recapitulate what we said, first you have to write the date, then the sequence, then the lesson on the left of the board. Then you ask questions orally to elicit from the pupils some output, to write it on the board, to use it for your examples. After writing the examples, you explain to your pupils, you underline, you circle what is necessary, and then you make them deduce the title of the lesson. Then you ask them to give you examples orally. Then you use the middle and the right of the board to write the 3 first activities: the form-based, the meaning-based. Then you write the rule and you ask them to complete it. Then you write the 4th activity, which requires creativity from your pupils. That's all for today, my dear followers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.